Great customer service is never an accident. It is intentionally built by systems. Welcome back. My name is Melinda B. Powers, your resident expert witness with the Intentional Professionals Network, and this is 10 out of 10, where we give a kudos to a business that is doing something very well in their business operationally. Today, I'm going to talk about an experience I had at a restaurant. I took a friend of mine out to dinner for her birthday, and we tried a new place. It's called Medusa. It's in Midtown Detroit, and it is a part of a restaurant group that is pretty well known and popular around these parts. And so we went ahead. I got there first, and I made sure to let the staff know that we were celebrating a birthday. And they did the cutest thing. They gave me a postcard where all the staff had, signed and said happy birthday. And so I had that waiting for her when she arrived. So that was a really nice touch. I really thought that was cute. We ended up ordering. We ordered appetizers, as you do. And unfortunately, my friend didn't enjoy hers. And when they came back around to ask about it, she shared that. And they were very gracious, and they offered to allow her to try something else, and they wouldn't charge us for that. And so she selected something else. And I thought that was a really good way to handle it. There was no hesitation, there was no negotiation. It was automatically like, hey, we understand. How about this? This is one of our more popular appetizers. You might like this better. And it worked out. The meal went well. I had a mocktail, which I really enjoyed. It was really tasty. She had wine. And the service overall was just very good throughout the evening. And it was a really nice, aesthetically pleasing place. It was new. There happened to be an event going on, a private event in the back room. And there were a lot of people in and out. So that was interesting, just the people watching aspect of that. We were just, taking it in, chatting. And then dessert came. So we had decided to split a dessert. But they ended up bringing her own with the candle and singing happy birthday to her, which was very nice. It was very cute. When I paid the bill, shortly afterwards, the manager came to our table. She had come by earlier with the appetizer issue just to acknowledge that and let us know how they were going to handle it. But she came back when we were wrapping up, and she offered us both her business card and encouraged us to email her directly whenever we wanted to come back or make a reservation, and she would take care of us. And I thought that was really top-notch customer service. Managers aren't always able to be there when things go wrong. When they do show up, that's nice. I only expect them to show up once, but when they're willing to try to find other ways to help mitigate and not leave a bad impression, I really do appreciate that. She did a great job. She was very personable, very friendly, and we were both impressed by that. So I want to highlight the things that they did well. Obviously, the service was good, the food was good, but the service stood out to me more because they were new, and new places sometimes have a tendency to not be where they need to be because they're getting their sea legs. They handled it really well. They didn't get defensive, and they just took care of it. No harm, no foul. So I really did like how they handled it. I love the touches with the postcard and with the dessert, and then with the manager coming at the end to make that gesture with her card. All of those things really did help punctuate the evening for me and gave me a lot of reason to go back in the future. So I wanted to highlight that and talk about why those types of things don't just happen by accident. They don't just occur and you get lucky and create a great experience. They have to be very intentional, they have to be planned, they have to be trained and reinforced for it to become common practice. They are new, so I have to also keep in mind that they're going to want to make a good impression in the beginning. I would be very interested to know if that level of service is maintained over time. I suspect it will be, though, because this restaurant group they're a part of is very well known and very popular for a reason. So I think that they've done a great job of starting on the right page with how they encounter customer issues and how they serve customers. And I hope to see more in the future. I think they're going to do really well. They're in a great location and people seem to really like it. It was pretty busy and I think they had only been open maybe a few weeks at that point, if that. So, really great experience, but it just the systems thinker in me, those things stood out and I understood why they existed. And someone at the top, whether that is ownership or management, is making sure that those details don't get missed. And that's ultimately important. So if you are a founder or an owner that is starting solo and developing into an operation like that, those are things to think about as you're developing out your infrastructure and planning for the future of your organization. Those are deliberate moves that are made with intention and for that very reason, because once they become a habit, it becomes the culture of your organization. And is very important and is one of the hardest things to change. So if you don't start out the right way, it's hard to get it there once it's been established that that's not the standard. So Medusa, great job. Really enjoyed you. Will be coming back. Their concept is really interesting as well. I wanted to point that out too because it also speaks to the intention of how this restaurant was started. It highlights different phases of like the Mediterranean landscape, like through history. Is really interesting. And I thought that was very unique because when you think Mediterranean, I know I tend to just think one way, but Mediterranean encompasses different countries, different styles of cooking, different cultures, and they honed in on I believe it's three that they honed in on. And I thought that was a very unique play on that type of cuisine because we've seen it a lot of different ways over and over again, but this was definitely something I hadn't seen before. So if you're into that, please check them out if you're in Midtown Detroit or not very far from downtown. And it's a great vibe and a great time. I'm going to stop there. Thank you for joining me for 10 out of 10. I'll see you next week for episode 3, and I'll see you tomorrow for In Their Business. Bye.